My name is Ethan Mitchell, 34, a software developer in Boston who built a good life despite being 3 states away from family. For 2 years, I'd been sending money home after Dad lost his executive position. Every month, like clockwork, $3,800 for their rent, plus extras for emergencies. When Mom called saying Christmas was cancelled because they were too broke for a big gathering, I understood. Family sacrifices for family? I accepted my lonely holiday as part of supporting them through hard times. Before I tell you how my family's betrayal unfolded, drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from, and hit subscribe if you've ever been taken advantage of by the people who should care about you most. I put less into savings than I should have, but helping family felt like the right priority. Last year, Brooke called in tears. Her car was beyond repair, and she needed a new one to get to her latest job as an administrative assistant. I co-signed her loan and covered the $400 monthly payments when she invariably came up short. The requests became more frequent. Dad's job search wasn't going well, though he mentioned promising interviews that never seemed to materialize. Mom started an online business selling handmade jewelry that generated more expenses than income. Looking back, I should have seen the signs. The social media posts showing restaurant dinners when they claimed to be eating ramen. The new clothes during financially tight months. Brooke's weekend trips with friends while claiming she couldn't afford her phone bill. But I trusted them. They were family. Our holiday traditions had always been important. Thanksgiving at Aunt Patricia's house, Christmas at my parents'. Even after moving to Boston, I flew home each year, bringing gifts and contributing to the holiday meal. Last Christmas, I noticed my mother wearing a diamond tennis bracelet I hadn't seen before. "It's cubic zirconia," she said quickly when I complimented it. "Only looks expensive." It was real diamonds. I knew because I worked with a jewelry designer on our company's financial software and had learned to spot the difference. But I said nothing. This year, in early December, I booked my flight home for Christmas as usual. I found thoughtful gifts for everyone, a high-end tablet for Dad to help with job applications, a professional camera for Mom's jewelry business, and noise-canceling headphones Brooke had been wanting. Then came the call that changed everything. "Ethan, honey, we need to talk about Christmas," Mom said one evening, exactly 7 days before I was supposed to fly home. Her voice had that particular tone, the one she used when asking for money without wanting to directly ask for money. I braced myself for another financial request. "What about Christmas?" I asked, already mentally calculating how much extra I could spare this month. "We've decided to cancel our usual celebration," she said with a heavy sigh. "Your father and I talked it over, and we just can't afford a big gathering this year. With his job situation and all the bills piling up, it seems irresponsible to spend money on a lavish holiday." I was surprised but understood immediately. "That's completely fine, Mom. I can help with extra expenses if you need. Christmas doesn't have to be elaborate to be meaningful." No, she insisted. "We couldn't possibly ask for more than you're already giving. You do too much for us as it is. We're just going to have a quiet day at home, maybe watch some movies." Brooke's disappointed, but she understands too. "I could still come," I offered. "My flight's already booked. We could have a simple celebration." There was a pause on the line. "Actually, honey, that might make us feel worse. Seeing you spend money on flights when we can't even provide a proper Christmas dinner, it would just highlight how much we've failed." "Mom, you haven't failed," I protested. "It's decided, Ethan," she said firmly. "We'll do a proper celebration next year when things are better. Save your money and have a nice quiet Christmas in Boston. Maybe connect with some friends there." After some more back and forth, I reluctantly agreed. I canceled my flight, receiving only a partial refund due to the late change. Still, I shipped the gifts I'd bought, wanting them to have something to open on Christmas morning. "You shouldn't have, but thank you," Mom said when I told her about the packages. "You're always so generous." The week before Christmas felt strange. My apartment, which I rarely decorated since I usually wasn't there for the holiday, seemed especially bare. I picked up a small tree from a lot down the street and strung it with lights. It was pitiful compared to the 8-foot Fraser fir my parents always got, but it was something. I reached out to friends in Boston, but most had plans with family or were traveling. Logan, my college roommate from MIT, invited me to join his family in Vermont, but it was a last-minute invitation out of pity, and I declined. "Thanks, but I've got some projects I'm catching up on," I lied. "Enjoy your family time." 3 days before Christmas, I called home to check in. Dad answered, sounding distracted. "Can't talk long, son. We're, organizing the pantry." In the background, I heard what sounded like multiple voices and something being moved, furniture perhaps. "Everything okay there?" I asked. Fine. Just trying to stay busy since we're not doing the usual Christmas thing." "Oh, Karen needs me. Talk soon." He hung up abruptly. That night I texted Brooke, "How are you holding up about the cancelled Christmas?" Her reply came hours later. "Sucks but whatever. Making the best of it. Thanks for the package BTW, can't wait to open it." On Christmas Eve, I picked up Chinese takeout, not exactly festive, but better than cooking for one. I poured a glass of whiskey and watched It's a Wonderful Life, alone in my living room. My phone buzzed with a text from Mom. "Thinking of you, sweetheart. Love you so much. Merry Christmas Eve." I replied with a heart emoji and tried not to feel sorry for myself. My family was struggling financially, and here I was wallowing because I had to spend one Christmas alone. I resolved to make the best of tomorrow and perhaps volunteer at a local shelter to give the day some meaning. Before bed, I sent one more text to the family group chat. "Merry Christmas, everyone. Wish we could be together, but I'm thinking of you. Hope you enjoy the gifts." 3 quick replies came in. Dad, "Merry Christmas, son. We miss you." Mom, "Love you, honey. We'll open your gifts and call you." Brooke, "Merry Christmas, bro." I went to sleep feeling melancholy but accepting. This was what family did, sacrifice for each other during hard times. Next year would be better. I woke up Christmas morning to the sound of silence. No excited voices, no Christmas music playing, no smell of Mom's cinnamon rolls in the oven. Just the quiet hum of my apartment's heating system and the muted sounds of city traffic below. For a moment, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, allowing myself to feel the loneliness. Then I shook it off and reached for my phone. No missed calls yet, but it was only 7:30 a.m., 2 hours earlier in Denver. I made coffee and opened the single gift I had, a package from a tech company I'd done contract work for, containing a branded hoodie and wireless earbuds. Nice, but not exactly the warm family gift exchange I was used to. At 10 a.m. Boston time, my phone rang. It was a video call from my parents. "Merry Christmas!" they chorused when I answered. They were sitting on their couch, still in pajamas. The lighting was dim, and I could only see them, not the room around them. "We opened your gifts," Mom said, holding up the camera I'd sent. "It's absolutely perfect, thank you so much. This tablet is top of the line," Dad added. "You shouldn't have spent so much." They seemed in a hurry, the call lasting barely 5 minutes before Mom said, "Well, we should let you go. I'm sure you have plans with friends." "Not really," I started to say, but Dad cut in. "We love you, son. Thanks for understanding about this year. Next Christmas will be different, promise." After they hung up, I texted Brooke. "Did you open your headphones?" "Yes," she replied. "OMG, they're amazing." "Thank you." I asked if she wanted to video chat, but she responded, "Can't right now, helping Mom with something. Call you later." Later never came. I made myself breakfast, then bundled up for a walk through the neighborhood. Boston was beautiful under a fresh coating of snow, with Christmas decorations adorning the historic buildings. Through windows, I caught glimpses of families gathered around trees, opening gifts, laughing together. Back home, I tried to stay busy. I cleaned my apartment, watched a basketball game, and started reading a new thriller I'd bought myself. I checked social media but quickly closed it after seeing too many happy family photos. Around 3 p.m., I called Logan, who was at his parents' house in Vermont. "Merry Christmas, man! How's the solo holiday going?" he asked. "About as good as can be expected," I replied. "Quiet. That sucks that your family cancelled. Families should be together at Christmas. They're going through a tough time financially," I explained. "I understand. Yeah, but still. Hey, wait, isn't your sister Brooke? Brooke Mitchell?" "Yes," I said, surprised. "Why? I think I saw her on Instagram earlier today. One of my cousins follows her. Looked like she was at some party." "Must be a different Brooke," I said. "She's at home with my parents. They're having a quiet day, no celebration." "Maybe you're right," Logan said doubtfully. "The post I saw looked pretty festive, but I only glanced at it." We chatted a bit longer, then said goodbye. I dismissed Logan's comment. He must have confused Brooke with someone else, or perhaps seen an old post she'd reshared. For dinner, I heated up leftover Chinese food from the night before. Not exactly a traditional Christmas dinner, but it would do. I poured another glass of whiskey and toasted the empty room. "Merry Christmas to me." I sent another text to my family group chat. "Hope you're having a nice quiet Christmas. Just finished dinner here. Missing you all." The replies were brief. "Mom, missing you too. Just watching holiday movies." "Dad, same here, son. Quiet day as planned." Brooke didn't respond. I tried calling each of them individually later that evening, but all went to voicemail. They were probably napping or engaged in something and would call back. But they never did. As the night wore on, I felt increasingly sorry for myself, then guilty for feeling that way. My family was struggling financially while I had a stable job and comfortable life. One lonely Christmas was a small price to pay if it helped them through this difficult time. Before going to bed, I decided to post a simple, "Merry Christmas" message on my rarely used social media accounts. That's when everything changed. I opened Instagram first, quickly posting a photo of my sad little Christmas tree with the caption, "Merry Christmas from Boston. Missing family today." After posting, I scrolled through my feed, seeing friends' holiday celebrations. That's when I noticed Brooke was live streaming. Confused, I tapped on her icon. The video loaded, showing a crowded room filled with people laughing and dancing. Christmas music blasted in the background. The camera panned around what was unmistakably my parents' living room, elaborately decorated with professional-looking garlands, twinkling lights, and a massive Christmas tree surrounded by piles of wrapped gifts. My stomach dropped as I recognized faces: Aunt Patricia, Uncle Robert, cousins from both sides of the family, neighbors, family friends, at least 30 people, all dressed in festive attire, drinking from champagne flutes and eating from plates piled high with gourmet food. The camera swung around to show my sister's face. "Merry Christmas, everyone!" She slurred slightly, clearly tipsy. "Annual Mitchell Christmas Bash is lit! Oh wait, this is public, not my private story. Whatever!" She continued filming, moving through the crowd. There was Dad in a new sweater I'd never seen, clinking glasses with his brother. And Mom, wearing the diamond tennis bracelet she claimed was fake last year, plus a matching necklace that had to be new. Mom noticed Brooke filming and waved. "Honey, are you live? Be careful what you show." "It's fine, Mom," Brooke replied. "Just capturing the memories." The camera panned to a professional DJ booth set up in the corner, then to a catered buffet spread across the dining room table. Serving staff in uniform were collecting empty plates and refreshing drinks. My hands were shaking so badly I nearly dropped my phone. This wasn't a small gathering that had come together last minute. This was an elaborate, expensive party that had clearly been planned for weeks, maybe months. As I continued watching in shocked silence, Dad's voice boomed nearby. "Everyone! A toast to another wonderful Mitchell family Christmas. And don't forget, Those who signed up for the ski trip, we leave tomorrow morning at 9 sharp. 3 days at Breckenridge, all expenses covered. My mind reeled. A ski trip? Those weren't cheap. Even a modest trip to Breckenridge would cost thousands. The live stream continued as Brooke moved toward a table covered with opened gifts. She picked up a small box. "Check out what Daddy got me," she squealed, pulling out a set of car keys with a luxury brand logo clearly visible. "Picking up my new Audi tomorrow." The same car I was making $400 monthly payments on was apparently being replaced with the brand new luxury vehicle. In the background, I spotted my shipped packages sitting unopened in a corner, carelessly tossed aside. The betrayal was so complete, so absolute that I couldn't process it all at once. Every word they'd said to me had been a lie. Every plea for financial help, every claim of hardship, every reason for canceling our family Christmas, all fabricated to exclude me while they celebrated lavishly on my dime. Brooke ended her live stream abruptly when Mom whispered something in her ear. I sat frozen, staring at my phone screen long after it went dark. Numbly, I opened my banking app and began scrolling through my transaction history. In the past year alone, I had transferred over $75,000 to my parents, money they had clearly not spent on necessities. I poured another whiskey, my third of the night, and kept scrolling through social media. Though Brooke had ended her live stream, other relatives had posted photos from the party. Aunt Patricia had tagged a group shot with the caption, "Annual Mitchell Christmas Extravaganza. Better every year." Annual. Not a one-time event, but a tradition that had apparently continued without me. I found photos from last Christmas too, showing the same elaborate decorations, the same catered food, the same DJ. I had flown home last Christmas. Where had this party been then? Had they hosted it on a different day to hide it from me? As the whiskey dulled the edge of my pain, my mind cleared enough to realize something important. I needed evidence. I took screenshots of everything, the live stream, the photos, the captions. I recorded parts of the video using my laptop camera pointed at my phone screen, just in case they deleted everything once they realized their mistake. Then I began looking deeper. I found photos of my parents on tropical vacations they'd never mentioned. Pictures of Mom's girls' trips to spas and wineries. Dad golfing at exclusive courses. Brooke at concerts and festivals with VIP passes. All while I worked overtime to send them money for rent and emergencies. The final blow came when I found a photo from 3 months ago. My father on a golf course with 3 other men, all smiling broadly. The caption read, "Celebrating Frank's promotion to VP of Marketing at Westfield Solutions. 2 years with the company and already moving up." 2 years. The entire time I'd been supporting them, Dad had been employed at a new company. A quick LinkedIn search confirmed it. He'd been working there since shortly after claiming to lose his previous job. I took a deep breath and set my phone down. The pain was transforming into something else now, cold, clear anger. I wouldn't confront them tonight. I wouldn't give them a chance to make up more lies or engineer tearful apologies. No, I would wait. And when they came asking for money again, which they inevitably would, I would be ready. I barely slept that night. Each time I closed my eyes, I saw images from the live stream, my family laughing, celebrating, enjoying their elaborate Christmas while I ate leftover Chinese food alone in my apartment. I kept wondering how long the deception had been going on. Had they ever truly needed my financial help, or had it all been a scam from the beginning? By 6 a.m., I gave up on sleep. I made coffee and opened my laptop, determined to understand the full scope of their betrayal. First, I created a spreadsheet of every payment I'd made to my family over the past 2 years. The monthly rent payments of $3,800. Brooke's car payments. The emergency funds for dental work, car repairs, medical bills, and household expenses. It totaled just over $125,000 across 2 years, money I could have invested, used for a down payment on a house, or simply enjoyed. Next, I searched for property records in their county. The modest townhouse, they were renting for $3,800 per month didn't exist. They still lived in their original house, the mortgage for which had been paid off 5 years earlier, according to public records. They owned their home outright. I found Dad's company profile on Westfield Solutions' website. Frank Mitchell, Vice President of Marketing, joined our team in January 2023 after a distinguished career at Apex Industries. Frank leads our 10-person marketing department and has driven a 27% increase in market share since his arrival. The photos showed him beaming in an expensive suit, looking anything but unemployed. I dug deeper. Mom's struggling jewelry business had a professional website featuring her as a celebrated artisan, with pieces selling for hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars. The site included a calendar of upcoming craft shows and gallery exhibitions across the country. Brooke's Instagram, now scrubbed of the accidental livestream, revealed a lifestyle of constant travel, designer clothes, and nights out. Her profile listed her as a marketing coordinator at Westfield Solutions. She was working at Dad's company. By mid-morning, I had amassed a digital folder of evidence that made me sick to my stomach. The scale of deception was breathtaking. This wasn't a case of occasional white lies or exaggerated hardship. This was a coordinated, long-term campaign to systematically extract money from me under false pretenses. I reviewed text messages from the past year, seeing them now in a completely different light. Dad, March 15th. Hate to ask again, son, but the hot water heater just went out. Repair estimate is $1,200. Any chance you could help? Times are still tight with the job search. Mom, June 22nd. Ethan, sweetheart, I know it's not rent time yet, but could you send an extra $2,000? Your father had a promising interview, but they need him to fly to Chicago, and we just don't have the funds right now. Brooke, September 8th. Bro, I hate asking, but I'm so behind on bills this month. Can you help with $500? I'll pay you back when my commission comes through, promise. Every request was couched in temporary hardship, promises of impending financial stability, and assurances that they hated asking for help. All lies. I poured a shot of whiskey, morning be damned, and tried to understand the psychology behind their actions. Had they always seen me as the family piggy bank? Was I nothing more than a source of income to fund their lavish lifestyle? The most painful realization was that they didn't even seem to want me around. They had deliberately excluded me from family celebrations, created elaborate stories to keep me away, and continued to ask for money they didn't need. As I sat there, staring at my laptop screen, my phone buzzed with a text message. It was from Dad. Morning, son. Hope you had a nice Christmas despite everything. Listen, rent's due on the 1st as usual. Could you send the $3,800 today? And if possible, an extra $2,000 would help. Planning to take your mother for her annual checkup, and you know how medical costs are these days. Thanks in advance. Love you. The casual tone, the seamless continuation of the lie, the request for even more money, something inside me snapped. This wasn't just about the money, it was about the complete disregard for me as a person, as a son, as a brother. I typed out several responses, deleting each one. My first instinct was to unleash all my anger, to tell them I knew everything, to demand explanations and apologies. But that would give them a chance to construct new lies, to manipulate me with tearful excuses and promises to change. Instead, I crafted a simple, final message. Lose my number. I don't fund liars. Then I blocked all their numbers. Next, I called my bank and canceled all scheduled transfers to my family members. I closed the joint account I had established with my father for emergencies. I removed myself as co-signer on Brooke's car loan. She'd have to make those payments herself now. I methodically went through every financial connection I had with them and severed it. Credit cards, payment apps, online banking. I changed passwords, updated security questions, and locked everything down. By early afternoon, I had effectively cut off the flow of money that had sustained their deception. I took another shot of whiskey, feeling simultaneously liberated and devastated. Then I turned off my phone and went to bed, emotionally exhausted from the revelations and decisions of the day. When I woke up several hours later and turned my phone back on, it exploded with notifications. 55 missed calls. Dozens of text messages from unknown numbers, likely family members calling from different phones to get around my blocks. Several voicemails. I didn't listen to the voicemails or read the texts immediately. Instead, I ordered delivery, ate my first real meal of the day, and took a long shower. Only then, feeling somewhat steadier, did I begin to sort through the messages. Most were variations on confusion and concern. "Ethan, what's going on? Call me back." Dad from another number. "Honey, we're worried about you. Please call as soon as you get this." Mom. "Dude, WTF? Parents are freaking out." Brooke. As the timestamps progressed, the tone changed to anger. "This is completely unacceptable behavior. Call your mother immediately." Dad. "I can't believe you do this to your family. After all we've done for you." Mom. Then to panic. "Ethan, the rent is due. They'll evict us. Please respond." Dad. "Your sister's car payment bounced. They're threatening to repossess it." Mom. And finally to pleading. "Son, whatever you think happened, we can explain. Please call us." Dad. "Ethan, I'm begging you. We need to talk." Mom. The last voicemail, left at 7:48 a.m., was from Mom. I steeled myself and played it. "Ethan, please call us." Her voice was small, broken, with none of the entitled anger from earlier messages. She sounded afraid. Good, I thought. They should be afraid. Their financial house of cards was collapsing. I put the phone down and stared out my apartment window at the Boston skyline. Christmas was over. The new year approached. And for the first time in 2 years, I wouldn't be sending money to people who had betrayed me in the most fundamental way possible. The pain was still there, a hollow ache in my chest. But alongside it was something else, a growing sense of self-respect and determination. I wouldn't be their victim any longer. The morning after Christmas, my phone buzzed at exactly 8:30 a.m. with a text from my father. "Ethan, rent is due on the 1st as usual. Can you send the $3,800 today? Also need about $2,000 extra for some upcoming expenses. Thanks, son." The casual tone made my blood boil. After all the lies, after the elaborate Christmas party they'd hidden from me, he was asking for money as if nothing had happened. The audacity was breathtaking. I stared at the message for a full 5 minutes, considering my response. Part of me wanted to explode, to unleash all my anger and hurt in a lengthy tirade. But another part, the calm, rational part that had made me successful in my career, knew better. My reply was brief but final. "Lose my number. I don't fund liars." Then I blocked his number, and my mother's, and Brooke's. I went through my contacts and blocked extended family members who might serve as their messengers. Next came the financial disconnection. I logged into my banking app and canceled all scheduled transfers. I called my bank's customer service line and explained that I needed to prevent any unauthorized access to my accounts. "I'd like to close account ending in 4792, I told the representative, referring to the joint account I'd established with my father for emergencies. "I also need to change all my passwords and security questions," I continued. "And I'd like to be notified of any attempt to access my accounts from unrecognized devices." The representative was efficient and didn't ask too many questions. Within an hour, my financial firewall was in place. My next call was to the auto loan company where I was co-signer on Brooke's car. "I'd like to remove myself as co-signer on this loan," I explained. "Sir, that's not typically possible unless the primary borrower refinances the loan on their own," the agent explained. "I understand. Please note in the account that I'm no longer providing financial support for these payments. All communications should go directly to the primary borrower." "Noted, sir. Just be aware that as co-signer, you're still legally responsible if payments are missed." "I understand." I said grimly. My credit score might take a hit, but it was a price I was willing to pay for freedom from their exploitation. By noon, I had methodically severed every financial connection to my family. I changed passwords on all my accounts, updated security questions to answers they couldn't possibly guess, and locked down payment apps like Venmo and PayPal where they might try to request money. Then I turned off my phone and tried to process the emotional aftermath of my actions. The apartment felt eerily quiet. I made myself lunch but couldn't eat. The betrayal was a physical presence, sitting heavy in my stomach and constricting my chest. After a few hours, I turned my phone back on, curious despite myself about their reaction. The screen immediately lit up with notifications. Missed calls, text messages, voicemails, a digital bombardment from my family. The first wave of messages expressed confusion. Dad, 9:15 a.m. Ethan? What do you mean? Call me immediately. Mom, 9:17 a.m. Honey, what's going on? Your father says you sent a strange message. Brooke, 9:22 a.m. Bro, what's happening? Parents are freaking out. When I didn't respond, the tone shifted to indignation. Dad, 10:03 a.m. This is completely unacceptable behavior. Call your mother right now. Mom, 10:15 a.m. I can't believe you would treat your family this way. After everything we've done for you. Brooke, 10:27 a.m. Wow. Real mature, blocking everyone. Whatever your problem is, this isn't the way to handle it. By early afternoon, panic had set in. Dad, 1:45 p.m., from a different number. Ethan, the rent is due in days. They'll evict us if we don't pay. What are you doing? Mom, 2:12 p.m., from Aunt Patricia's number. Your father can't reach you. The bank says our account is closed. We need that money for rent. Please call us. Brooke, 2:34 p.m., from an unknown number. My car payment bounced. They're going to repossess it. Fix this now. The desperation in their messages should have given me satisfaction, but instead, I felt hollow. These people, my blood relatives, had never cared about me beyond what I could provide financially. The realization was devastating. By evening, the messages had turned to pleading. Dad, 6:10 p.m., from Uncle Robert's phone. Son, whatever you think happened, there's an explanation. Please call us. Mom, 6:45 p.m., from a new number. Ethan, I'm begging you. We need to talk. There's been a misunderstanding. Brooke, 7:02 p.m. Please don't do this to us. We're your family. I didn't respond to any of them. Their words had lost all meaning to me. For 2 years, they had systematically lied about their financial situation to extract money from me. They had excluded me from family gatherings while pretending those gatherings didn't exist. They had taken my generosity and twisted it into an entitlement. The final message came at 7:48 a.m. the next morning. A voicemail from my mother. Ethan, please call us. Her voice sounded broken, afraid. For a moment, I almost wavered. Then I remembered the live stream, her diamond jewelry, her carefree laughter, her complicity in the deception, and my resolve hardened. I didn't delete the messages or voicemails. Instead, I saved them as evidence of their panic when the gravy train suddenly stopped. They might try to twist the narrative, to paint me as the villain who abandoned his family in their time of need. I needed protection against that potential manipulation. By the second day of silence, extended family members began reaching out through email and social media, since I had blocked their numbers. Your parents are distraught, wrote Aunt Patricia. Whatever the problem is, surely you can talk it through? Dude, your sister's car got repossessed yesterday, messaged my cousin Mark. What's going on with you? I didn't respond to these messages either. They had all been at the Christmas party. They had all been complicit in the deception, enjoying celebrations funded by my financial support, while I sat alone in Boston. On the third day, a formal-looking envelope arrived at my apartment. Inside was a letter from my father, handwritten on expensive stationery. Ethan, I don't know what has caused this sudden change in your behavior, but your mother and I are deeply hurt. After everything we've done for you, raising you, supporting your education and career, this is how you repay us? By cutting us off without explanation? Yes, we had a small gathering at Christmas that we didn't tell you about. We didn't want to make you feel bad about not being able to come home this year. It was nothing elaborate, just a few friends and family stopping by. Brooke's video made it look more substantial than it was. As for our financial situation, you've misunderstood. Yes, I found employment, but the salary barely covers our basic needs. Your support has been keeping us afloat while we try to rebuild our lives after my career setback. Your mother is in tears constantly. Brooke had to move back home after her car was repossessed. We are facing eviction from our rental. Is this really what you want for your family? Please call us immediately. We can work this out. Dad. Every sentence was a lie. This small gathering. That was professionally catered and DJ'd. The rental. That didn't exist. The salary that barely covers basic needs, while funding ski trips and new luxury cars. I placed the letter in my evidence folder without responding. They were still trying to manipulate me, still clinging to their fabricated reality even when caught red-handed. On the fourth day, the doorbell rang. When I checked the peephole, I was shocked to see Brooke standing in the hallway. She had flown across the country to confront me in person. I considered not answering, but decided this confrontation was inevitable. Better to have it on my terms, in my space. When I opened the door, Brooke pushed past me into the apartment. She looked terrible, eyes red from crying, hair unwashed, wearing wrinkled travel clothes. "What the hell is wrong with you?" she demanded without preamble. "Do you have any idea what you've done to Mom and Dad?" I closed the door calmly. "Hello to you too, Brooke. How was your Christmas party? And how's the new Audi working out?" Her expression froze, then crumpled. "So that's what this is about. You saw my stupid live stream and now you're punishing everyone?" "This isn't about punishment," I said, keeping my voice level. "It's about consequences. For 2 years, you and our parents have been lying to me about your financial situation to extract money from me. Money that funded your parties, your trips, your new car, while I ate leftover Chinese food alone on Christmas because you all claimed to be too broke for a celebration. It wasn't like that," she protested weakly. "No? Dad doesn't have a VP position at Westfield Solutions? Mom's jewelry business isn't successful? You don't work in marketing at Dad's company? The house isn't paid off? There was no professional DJ at your small gathering?" With each question, she seemed to shrink. Finally, she collapsed onto my couch. "We never meant to hurt you," she whispered. "But you did," I replied. Intentionally and repeatedly. "So what now?" she asked. "You'll just abandon your family?" "You abandoned me long before I cut off the money," I said. "I was never included in the real family life, just kept at a distance while being used as an ATM. That's not fair," she protested. "What's not fair is lying to someone who loves you to get their money," I countered. "What's not fair is excluding them from family gatherings while taking their financial support. What's not fair is the complete lack of respect or gratitude you've all shown." Brooke started crying. Part of me wanted to comfort her, to fall back into familiar family patterns. But I held firm. "I think you should leave now," I said. "I have nothing more to say to any of you. Mom and Dad will lose the house," she said between sobs. "They own the house outright," I replied. "Public records don't lie, even if our family does." She looked up, surprised that I knew this detail. "They'll have to sell it," she admitted. "The lifestyle we've been living, it's not sustainable without your help." "That sounds like a problem of their making, not mine," I said. She stood, wiping her eyes. "So that's it? Years of family relationship just over?" I opened the door. "That's entirely up to you three. But things will never go back to how they were. The money is done. The lies are done. If there's to be any relationship moving forward, it will be built on honesty and mutual respect, not exploitation. After she left, I sat in my quiet apartment feeling strangely at peace. The confrontation had been painful but necessary. I had stated my truth, maintained my boundaries, and taken back my power. The calls and messages continued over the following days, but with decreasing frequency. My family was beginning to realize that their financial manipulation had finally hit a wall. The week between Christmas and New Year's passed in strange isolation. For the first time in years, I wasn't fielding urgent requests for money or managing my family's fabricated crises. The silence was both liberating and disorienting. I returned to work after the holiday break with a renewed focus. Colleagues commented on my changed demeanor, more present, more engaged. Without the constant drain of family financial demands, I found myself with mental energy I hadn't realized was being siphoned away. "You seem different," my team lead remarked during our first meeting of the new year. "Good different. Like a weight's been lifted." He wasn't wrong. Despite the pain of betrayal, I felt lighter. The constant background anxiety about my family's supposed financial struggles had disappeared. Now I could direct my attention to my own life, my own goals. 2 weeks after Christmas, I made an appointment with a therapist. Dr. Melissa Richardson specialized in family trauma and financial abuse, terms I would never have applied to my situation before, but which now seemed painfully accurate. "What you've described is a classic case of financial exploitation within a family system," she explained during our first session. "Your generosity was systematically abused by people who should have had your best interests at heart." "I still feel guilty," I admitted. "They're my family." "That guilt is programmed," she replied. "They installed those buttons and knew exactly how to push them. Your father's position as a marketing executive is particularly telling. He understood exactly how to frame their requests to maximize your emotional response." Over several sessions, Dr. Richardson helped me untangle the complex emotions surrounding my family's betrayal. The anger, the hurt, the lingering sense of responsibility, all needed to be processed. "Establishing boundaries doesn't mean you don't love them," she explained. "It means you love yourself enough to not allow their destructive behavior to continue." Meanwhile, the communication attempts from my family continued, though less frantically. My father sent a formal letter through certified mail, detailing their dire financial circumstances, and including actual eviction notices, which I later discovered were templates downloaded from the internet, not legal documents. My mother tried a different approach, sending tearful emails about family unity and forgiveness. "We made mistakes," she wrote, "but families stick together through thick and thin." Brooke was more direct in her text messages from new numbers. "Parents selling house. Dad taking lower-paying job. Mom selling jewelry inventory at loss. All because you abandoned us." I saved these communications without responding. Dr. Richardson called this evidence collecting, not for legal purposes, but to reinforce my own understanding of their manipulation tactics and prevent me from doubting my decisions during moments of weakness. 1 month after Christmas, Logan invited me to dinner at his apartment. He'd been a steady support through the whole ordeal, one of the few people I'd fully confided in. "I have a confession," he said after we'd eaten. "I ran into your sister at a networking event last week." My stomach tightened. "And?" "She approached me, knew we were friends. Said your family was struggling, asked if I could talk some sense into you." He shook his head. "I told her I knew the whole story and that she should be ashamed." "What did she say?" She cried. "Said they never meant for it to go this far, that it started with legitimate financial needs but then, I don't know, escalated. Once they realized how willing you were to help, they just kept pushing the boundaries." This was the first glimpse I'd had into their reasoning, their justification for years of deception. "Did you believe her?" I asked. Logan considered. "I believe they've convinced themselves of whatever narrative lets them sleep at night. But no, I don't think their initial requests were any more legitimate than the later ones." 3 months after Christmas, my buzzer rang unexpectedly one Saturday morning. When I checked the intercom camera, I saw my sister again, looking much more put together than during her previous visit. I almost didn't let her up, but curiosity won out. "I'm not here to ask for money," she said immediately when I opened the door. "Or to make excuses." "Then why are you here?" I asked, not inviting her in. "To give you this." She handed me an envelope. "It's the first payment. I can only afford $500 a month, but I'm going to pay back everything I took from you. It'll take years, but I'll do it." I was speechless. This was the last thing I'd expected. "Can I come in?" she asked quietly. "Just to talk. You can record it if you want proof I'm not trying to manipulate you." I stepped aside, letting her enter. We sat at my kitchen table, a safe distance between us. "What happened?" I asked. "Reality," she said simply. "When you cut us off, everything fell apart quickly. Dad's salary is good, but not good enough for the lifestyle they built using your money. Mom's business makes decent profit, but nothing like what they were spending. And you?" She looked down. "I lost my job at Dad's company. Downsizing, they said, but I think the executives realized the nepotism looked bad. I'm working retail now, living with 3 roommates. I'm sorry about the job," I said, finding that I meant it. "Don't be. It's clarifying to actually earn what you have." She hesitated. "The house is on the market. They're moving to a condo. Smaller, but nice enough." I nodded, processing this information. "Why are you really here, Brooke?" "To say I'm sorry. Not because I need something, but because I am." Her eyes filled with tears. "I was jealous of you, always have been. You made everything look so easy. College, career, finances. When I saw how willing you were to help, it was like finally having a piece of what came so naturally to you." "None of it came naturally," I said. "I worked hard for everything I have." "I know that now," she admitted. "The past few months have been a crash course in real adult life." We talked for over an hour. She didn't ask for forgiveness or for a restored relationship, just the opportunity to make amends through actions, not words. The $500 check was the first step in what she acknowledged would be a long journey. As she was leaving, she paused at the door. "Mom and Dad aren't ready to admit what they did. They're still telling themselves it was all justified somehow. But they know they've lost you, and it's devastating them. That's their journey to take," I replied. "I can help them through it." 6 months after Christmas, I received a formal letter from my parents. Unlike previous communications, this one acknowledged inappropriate financial requests and expressed regret for miscommunications about family gatherings. It wasn't a full admission of their deception, but it was something. The letter ended with a request. "If you would consider it, we would like to meet with you and a family counselor to discuss rebuilding our relationship." After consulting with Dr. Richardson, I agreed to a single session, with strict conditions. It would be via video call, not in person. The therapist would be selected by me, not them, and financial support would be explicitly off the table for discussion. The session was difficult. My parents struggled to take full responsibility, often falling back on justifications and minimizations. But by the end, a fragile framework for potential future contact had been established. "This isn't forgiveness," I clarified as the session concluded. "It's an opportunity to see if you're capable of having a relationship that isn't based on exploitation." 1 year after that fateful Christmas, I had rebuilt my life in unexpected ways. My savings account had grown substantially without the constant drain of family emergencies. I'd been promoted at work and had started dating someone who respected boundaries and valued honesty above all. My relationship with my family existed in a new form, limited contact governed by clear expectations. Brooke had continued her monthly payments without fail, each one a tangible symbol of her commitment to making amends. My parents had downsized significantly, learning to live within their actual means. The pain hadn't disappeared entirely. Trust, once shattered, doesn't easily reform. But I had learned crucial lessons about self-worth, about the courage to establish boundaries, and about the difference between genuine support and enabling harmful patterns. That Christmas, I hosted a small gathering in my apartment for local friends who weren't traveling home. Logan came, as did colleagues and neighbors. It wasn't elaborate or expensive, but it was genuine, filled with people who valued my presence, not my wallet. As I looked around at these connections I'd built, I realized that family isn't always defined by blood. Sometimes it's created through honesty, respect, and mutual support, qualities I now refuse to compromise on in any relationship. The betrayal had nearly broken me, but in its aftermath, I found something invaluable: the strength to demand authenticity, to recognize exploitation, and to build a life centered on reciprocal care rather than one-sided sacrifice. Have you ever had to draw a difficult boundary with family? Share your experience in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to hear more about navigating complex family dynamics and building healthier relationships. Remember, supporting loved ones should never mean enabling harmful patterns. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is to say no and mean it. Thank you for listening to my story, and I wish you the strength to honor your own worth in every relationship you build.